Hey, what is going on, everybody? I am back from Roswell. Welcome back to another episode of MetaBroz. We're going to go over what happened down there and also talk about what some of this stuff here on the table is. I'm Moldy Potion. This is my bro, Metacrax.
Welcome back, everyone, to what will be kind of a short video. We just are trying to get back into the swing of things. We had a lot going on this weekend. In addition to Roswell, we had fires here in Montana. So
Yes, we did.
We live in the area of Montana that had the flames all around us, helicopters, well, more so those planes, those dumpers or whatever they are that scoop up the water from the lake. And there's a lake right outside our kitchen window. So there was just traffic in the air. It sounded like war. You know, we got evacuated. The police came, basically knock on everyone's doors. So we had to disconnect the whole studio because I wasn't going to leave that behind and get consumed by the flames. So I took it with me, and then we had to hook it up. And of course, as soon as we got it back, it didn't work. So
Of course.
we're here a little late, and we will be catching up and giving you guys much more content moving forward. Of course, you can always count on Casters. We've got those videos already turned in. So if you're looking for more, stop by Caster Society on YouTube, and we upload at least 3 gameplays a week there. More competitive play.
Yes, yes, we do.
And anything else that we're going to say?
Yeah. Also, if you want to support us and our content, you can go to patreon.com/metabros with a Z. Big shout out to everybody who's there. We're about to do the giveaway for this month. And also, I just want to put this out there, guys. The supply chain right now is a complete nightmare. Certain items are getting delivered before other items. So I just want to apologize for that and let everybody know everything that you guys have ordered, all your rewards. If anything hasn't shown up, it is on the way. I have tracking if you want to check it out. It's just been a total mess. So I apologize for that, but I think that's kind of happening across the board right now to a bunch of different companies.
Also, and our little printer, we're doing more and more and more orders,
Yeah.
and we're both doing orders in addition to like our MetaBros orders. So there's like stuff that we order for ourselves and then for you guys. And then, I think they're getting a little overwhelmed, and they're trying to figure out, the best format to get all these to you guys in a, timely manner. Anyway, let's get into that because we've got something new for our patrons. And let's see, I think it's this window. Cool. Yep, there's the wheel. So this month, the giveaway is actually designed by me.
I'm so happy about this. This is our first Cracks design, guys.
I'll bust this out here. So here you guys go. Bigfoot holding the toxic water with dead frogmen and Ketzes around him. He is modeled after Jim Belushi from Animal House. It's Jim, right? Or is it John? Oh, shit.
It's
My brain just... Jim or John?
John Belushi.
Jay Belushi, guys.
I think it's John Belushi.
So I think it's John also.
Yeah.
I just needed a reference, and then I liked the vibe of having college on the shirt. So I just kept it there as if Bigfoot is drinking toxic water in college, and he's the only one that survived. So anyway, that will be your Patreon reward. We're going to give prints away to the full hollow tiers. We're going to pick 2 winners. We're going to give 2 playmats away to the obnoxious 9 tier. And then our ultra tier, 2 of you will get an exclusive color variant that will never be printed or appear anyone else other than you 2 patrons.
Nice.
Did I say that right?
Nice.
I think I did.
Yeah.
You guys get it?
We're going to seed in some alt art playmats.
Yeah.
That's something we'd like to do more than often now with our designs. We'd like to be able to offer exclusive versions of them because why not? It's fun.
Shout out to, was it, who did you just do that with for Casters?
That was Kai.
Okay, yeah, shout out to Kai. That was between you guys. You guys figured out this fun little variant playmat, which we're going to continue doing just so we can give our patrons in that top tier a little something special that no one else will ever have.
Right.
All right, so with that, let's just get into choosing 2 winners for the print.
Let's go.
And the full hollow tier. First winner for the postcard print
will
of the
it
toxic
be?
water Bigfoot is...
Looks like Connor.
Connor.
Nice, dude. Congrats.
Congratulations, Connor C. We will get that print out to you immediately.
As always, I will reach out shortly, so keep your eye on your Patreon messages. If I don't have the address, I'm going to confirm it with you. Who do we got next?
And winner number 2 is...
Andy W.
Congratulations.
Congrats, man.
We will also get this print out to you ASAP, hopefully without supply chain issues. All right, closing the full hollow tier, on to the obnoxious 9. Now this will be for the playmat, and we're going to raffle off 2 for you guys as well.
Yes, indeed.
Starting with
Intrepion.
Oh man, that was so close.
I thought that was hitting your boy for a second.
Yeah, I know. Intrepion, welcome. I think you just joined this month, and you will get your prize within the next 30 days.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you so much for your support, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And one more for that obnoxious 9 tier. We have way more than 9 people in this tier.
No, seriously.
It's wild.
Thank you guys so much for the support. This is amazing.
Bobby V.
Bobby V.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
Bobby. Thank you guys so much for your support.
Heck yeah.
Get that playmat out to you immediately.
Just keep your eyes on the inbox so I can get your address.
Yeah.
Or if you see this, just send me your address. That'd make it even easier.
And just so you guys know, it's a print on demand situation. So we put the orders in and then they get queued up over like a 10-day period. So you should get shipping in about a week or 2.
Yeah, I'd say 2 weeks.
And it'll arrive within the month.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And now for the Ultra. So you guys, like we said, everyone gets a playmat in this tier. Everyone gets the print in this tier. But 2 of you, your playmat will be something special that no one else has other than the other patron.
And we will never print those 2 again.
Yeah. We're not even going to have them here on the show. We're just giving them to you. And the first winner is Robert.
Nice.
R. Thank you, Robert, for your support.
Thank you so much, man. I think it's your first month too, so props.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I think so.
Thanks, Robert. We got a Robert M there, Robert R. Robert R, you have won the exclusive playmat, Alt Art. And now one more.
One more, why not?
Ooh, a little bit of stutter there. Still going. Here we go.
Tana.
Yes!
Nice job, Tana.
Tana B token. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much for your support.
Thank you, everybody.
You get
really.
the other Alt Art.
We're so honored to be able to do this for you guys, and we want to make sure to keep fun stuff coming for you. So just thank you so much.
Yeah, and you guys let me know. If this isn't cool enough, if the art isn't up to par, I won't do it again. But if it is,
it's pretty cool.
I'll continue, slowly turning these out every couple months. Maybe I'll be one of the Patreon prizes for you guys.
I think it's pretty cool. I do.
Right
I actually love it a lot. And I think I'm glad to see Ket's there. I know we've made the dead frog joke a number of times, but guys, let's be real. Frog got killed. He did. He got killed. And so that got reflected in a lot of these mats. I know I'm saying this because so many of you are Frog fans and you're like, why do you always show Frog dead? It's like, well, Frog kind of got deaded by the Hornets and all of that. But mark my words, he's coming back. I believe in Frogman. He will make a triumphant return.
Really?
I do.
You think they're going to resurrect him from his dead state and make him more powerful than ever?
I do. I don't know if it'll happen in UFO. Actually, I highly doubt it will happen in UFO just because of the UFO itself still has a bunch of frog killers in it. But come seance, I think we're going to start to see a little more control come back because Spirit is so control oriented. And I assume that will help water out quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, seance, I'm thinking that it's going to give the spirit boost, of course, because seance is literally communicating with the spirits.
Right.
Dark, I'm just guessing, will also have some sort of boost. I don't think it's until maybe yokai that we would have like a specific set that has to do with water. And I'm not even saying that has to do with water. There's just, we're going over the ocean to Japan. So maybe, and it's an island. So maybe a frog boost there.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I think that each set we kind of get some boost that will help. We got the 4th of July promo. That's huge for Frog. Just a couple more cards like that would make a Frog deck operational again, but not in the same way it was before. Like, I think the days of the Loveland lockdown, lightning in a bottle, smoky spirits, and that just always working, those days are kind of past.
Those are
we're going to have
days.
to be, we're going to have to be more varied in what Frog can do and deal with, and maybe not base the whole deck around Frog as much as have Frog in a deck that operates on other means,
The way that MetaZoo is rolling out their power structure, we've talked about this off camera. I may have mentioned it once here on Casters. It feels like a Jenga tower that is unsustainable because the power levels are so high. It's like, how can you keep turning up the power levels and keep turning up the power levels? But you know what?
They're doing it.
And it's fucking fun.
Yeah,
it's like everyone is on steroids. All of the auras are getting boosted to this point that I don't think many games maybe ever get to. Like maybe Magic at this point has so many sets over decades that they have a huge base of mechanics that can be almost overwhelming to think about them all because there's so many. MetaZoo's already there after a year. It is like that thing that we talk about it kind of being like almost like a Dungeons and Dragons style gaming where there's so many techniques to win this game. To know them all is like mastery, but just to master one can make you win game after game after game. And because there are so many options, it's hard to predict what your opponent is going to show up with. And now that they've got like that second turn advantage card that you showed me, which by the way, guys, I still am pretty clueless on the UFO set because we didn't get spoilers that early this time and the boxes have already arrived. We're going to just be breaking boxes for you guys over the next couple weeks and going over the set in person as we discover it. I think you're a little more up on it than I was.
Yeah.
I was kind of avoiding it until we both did it just so I could respond or react in the moment. But at this point, we're just going to break cards and break packs and just see what we get and then talk about the set as we go.
Yeah, totally. And it is an amazing set. I mean, and I understand a lot of people are of that same opinion where they kind of just want to see the cards once they come out and be surprised by what's going on. But because I was going to a release event where we were going to be playing these cards, of course, I take that seriously. So I wanted to research everything I could leading up to that event. And man, it was a great time there in Roswell.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's go over to the playmat, which you got here in Roswell, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, there in Roswell, brought back here.
Yeah, and you can get this same design on the MetaZoo marketplace, but it won't say if found, return to Roswell, New Mexico.
That's awesome.
That's the special marking of someone who was at the release event. It was awesome, guys. It was the first time that MetaZoo has ever thrown its own event officially. You know, it's always been an event at a convention, Collecticon, or whatever it may be. And for MetaZoo to just go, you know what, we're going to throw an event out in the middle of nowhere in Roswell, New Mexico, and we'll see who shows up. And for a couple hundred people to show up and play and have a great time, I think it was a total success. It was so different from Caster's Cup in such a cool way because Caster's Cup, let's be real, we were all there thinking, oh my gosh, $250,000. Oh my gosh, $100,000. Like, as much as people wanted to talk about their decks, they also didn't, you know, and they were hoping, everybody was hoping that they had the deck that would crack it. And then we all found out that we were all playing Lightning and we were like, oh shit. But this was so much different because it was intended to be casual. When you showed up, they handed you your playmat. They gave you this hat, which is just so sick.
Let's show that off.
A little MetaZoo UFO hat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
I didn't even notice you were wearing this, man. That's badass.
It's really cool.
I like the material too.
It's really well made. Yeah, it's a great hat.
MetaZoo UFO. And what's it say on the back?
I think it says the same thing. If found, return to Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh, that's killer. Oh, and I like the green on the bottom too.
Yeah, just a nice design. It's a great hat. So we got that, the playmats, and then they handed us one of these. A release event deck, which if you guys haven't opened these before, it's going to be a pre-built dual aura deck. It's always a dual aura deck, even back in the Cryptid Nation days. And it comes with 3 booster packs in it. So you're allowed to open up, see which deck you have, rip into your booster packs, and then you can augment the pre-built deck with what you pull out of the booster packs. And just to make it a little more fun for us at the event, they gave us a few extra booster packs so that we had more stuff to work with. And essentially, you walked in, you got handed all this stuff, and then they said, go find a seat. Everybody was sitting in 8-person pods. And so you just sit down, fill in a slot on an 8-person pod, and then you guys would start playing your own little mini tournament. And once it got down, it was Swiss. So once it got down to whoever finished the best of 3s and had the most points, they would get 4 boosters for first, 3 boosters for second, 2 boosters for third, and 1 booster for 4th place. And then anyone after that, he didn't win anything. But man, it was just so cool because it was all families. There were so many kids. There was such a diversity of people there. You know, it's so cool to see that because MetaZoo does that better than just about any game. I mean, the crowd with Pokemon is incredibly diverse, but if you look at the crowd for Magic the Gathering or Flesh and Blood, some of these other games, it's kind of a particular crowd who take the game very seriously. It's not as much families and kids and things like that. And MetaZoo appealed to everybody. And it was just so cool because we all knew we had come out here. You know, we'd made the trek out to Roswell and that we were all hanging out, you know, playing cards, checking out these decks for the first time. And there wasn't a lot of pressure. So everybody was having fun, you know. Half the games I was playing were kind of me teaching and helping the person understand. The other half were highly competitive, but everybody's shaking hands, having a great time, you know. And
was everyone playing exclusively UFO, or were they already going and rebuilding with Cryptid Nation, Nightfall, and Wilderness?
There were, you know, some people after the pods closed would bust out their constructed decks and maybe make some modifications and play, but 90% of the play was with the UFO.
Just pure UFO.
Yep,
Oh,
which
that's
was
great.
really cool. And the release decks, we'll get into this. These release decks were really, really well constructed, and they didn't have the usual staples. They did not have Power Up Red, they did not have New Beginnings, and they did not have bookmarks. And you might be like, what? But what they did have were 2 new spells that totally shift the flow of the game, one of which is called Patient Insight, which actually for the first time is changing first turn advantage, believe it or not. I was saying you may go first at this tournament.
There it is.
Yep.
This is what I mean by you think it's an unsustainable Jenga tower.
Right.
You think that they're building in this direction that they can't come back, but they find ways to answer anything through a new mechanic.
They do.
So everyone knows MetaZoo up until this point, you go first.
Yep.
If you can, you never not go first. It gives you a huge advantage. And now it doesn't.
Right.
And now going second does. So they just like clip that section of the Jenga tower and put it even higher. And now we've got even more power.
And all the really serious players who I was playing against were doing the exact same thing. You may go first because what? Okay, so you're probably wondering, what the heck does this card do?
Yeah, we don't have it pulled up here, guys.
No.
We're not opening cards today. We're just reviewing, and then we'll get into all the box openings.
Yeah. But I'll tell you real quick what it does. It's a 3 neutral cost, and you can have 2 per spell book. And it says you may not put it in your side deck. It has to stay in your main deck. So you can't swap it out between rounds.
Oh, when you know you're going first.
Right. You can't.
That's smart.
It's super smart.
These guys.
When you pay the 3, it says, if you are the caster who started this game, like you went first, you bookmark 1. If not, bookmark 3. So 2 per spell book.
Wow.
3 bookmarks twice. That's 6 extra pages just for going second.
What's the cost of the card?
3 neutral.
3 neutral to bookmark 1 if you were the person going first. And then your opponent bookmarks 3.
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't even play that card when you go first.
Not unless you have nothing else to play,
Yeah.
which often was the case when I played it. If I was going first, I'd be like, well, might as well, it'll get me a bookmark. But really going second, I mean, when I first read the card, I thought that's cute. I'm still going to go first. And then when my opponent was like, so I'm going to pay 3, bookmark 3, I was like, oof. And then like the next turn, he's like, so I'm going to pay 3, bookmark 3 again. I was like, oh my God, this is serious. And I watched the game completely turn around twice. Go ahead.
I must be misunderstanding something. Are you telling me that this is an artifact and not a spell?
No, it's a spell.
Then you can only use it once a game.
It's 2 per spell book. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's insane. And here's the thing, guys, when you get the 3, when you get the 3 draw, I think that about evens the playing field. So you and the person who went first are on even keel. That's what it felt like. When you get the second 3, you're ahead now. Definitely, you're ahead.
Shout out to, I think it's Justine, you know what I'm talking about? Who was telling me, one of our viewers was trying to let me know, don't miss this, Cracks. You're gonna love this card. You're right. I didn't miss it. I got it, and now I love it even more, knowing you can have 2 per spell book.
Oh, he was talking about a totally different card, though.
He was?
Yeah, he was talking about the 2nd anniversary celebration.
He was.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Got
which is
that
also
too.
a great card.
What am I even saying? Already the brain is not making sense. Justin, thank you. Yes, I got the 2nd anniversary card. What does that one do? Just so I don't.
So that one's arguably as good as 1st anniversary. It's only 1 per spell book, where 1st anniversary is 2 per spell book. It costs 1 neutral, and the text says that you may contract it whenever an opponent contracts a neutral page, and it doesn't specify, like Void Spell says counter that spell unless it says bookmark in the effects. This one says that spell does not resolve its effects. Instead,
right.
you each bookmark 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the shout out to Justin. Thank you.
There you go.
And yeah, you're right. So I got 10 of those. Super stoked. All these new cards in MetaZoo, they're so amazing. Now we basically have a neutral counter spell that turns into a bookmark for both of you.
Yep.
The ramping of this game, it's like becoming finishing moves everywhere you look. You have these potential power structures that could just end a game so much faster than anything we're used to, which I love, because up until this point, my play style, because the brain goes slow sometimes or completely in the wrong direction, it takes a lot of thought for me to get through a game in that competitive play where you're supposed to be closing matches in like 50 minutes. That's rare for me right now. I'm the slow guy. And I love the idea of having these like wildfire these
Yep.
things that collapse games. So even if you don't have the correct pathway, the game is like shutting down around you. It's going to end. There's going
Right.
to be a winner because the power is so great that you get that finish him.
Yeah. And I mean, it's now having a one neutral cost spell that can single-handedly stop New Year's New Beginnings, Bookmark, Next Chapter, Patient Insight,
yeah.
Power Up Red, Balancing Beam, First Anniversary Celebration. The list goes on. Tribal War Cry. There is so much that you can stop with that one cost spell. You best be main decking it. If you guys got a copy of it, you're going to be putting that right in your main deck. Trust me.
We got copies. We did it. This
Yeah.
is awesome. All
Yep.
right, guys. So the rest of this show, we're just going to be talking a little bit about UFOs. So this basically concludes the MetaZoo chat from
Well-
Roswell, the game. What's up? What are you
I have
saying?
one more thing I want to talk about.
we got to go over this.
I want to talk about the passport.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're so right. Before
Yeah.
we get into the UFO stories, this is huge.
Yeah.
So please tell people what they're looking at right now. This is incredible.
So as you can see, this is a Cryptid Nation passport. It's got a cute little snipe stamp on it, Point Pleasant stamp, little Cryptid Nation insignia there. And these were handed out to us at Roswell. And we were also told that around town at different businesses in the city of Roswell, that there were going to be stamps, exclusive stamps that we could get put into our passport. And so you went around town to these actual businesses. MetaZoo actually drummed up businesses or business for the local people. And we went around checking these things out. So you can see there's Mike's signature and Afton's.
Right there.
Yeah.
And Afton up there.
Had to get those. Yeah.
Oh, you got a slot for your profile pic.
Yep. So you'll
So
be
you
able to
haven't-
get your PFP and stick it on there. Now at San Diego Comic-Con, they actually had a printer that was printing out people's PFPs. They didn't have that at Roswell, but there you go, guys. There's the stamps.
So wait, these are real stamps.
These are real stamps.
The passport did not come like this. It was blank pages.
It came with a couple. You can, if you look closely, you can tell the frog is not a real stamp. The headless chicken on the bottom, the yellow one, wasn't a real stamp. But the red UFO, the black flatwood monster,
Oh, wow,
the
man.
blue headless chicken, those are all real stamps. They're beautiful. And these businesses were so stoked to have just hundreds of people roaming around town, coming through, complimenting their products, buying UFO stuff, buying art pieces and things like that. It was absolutely awesome. I think this is so cool that MetaZoo's doing this. Now, I'm a little sad because I think I missed one stamp. Because I was in the middle of playing a game and my dudes, my rides all left. Then you can see that's the stamps that Mike was giving out there. The official MetaZoo first edition stamp and then
and the
an
Manta
NFT.
Ray.
Yeah, Manta Ray NFT stamp if you showed him your PFP. Pretty cool. Now, apparently they did this in San Diego Comic-Con too. So some of you people out there who are super on it already have a full passport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I assume this is going to continue probably in Long Beach and other places. He's going to try to keep on sending us out to local businesses to drum up good, rapport for MetaZoo.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but basically Mike, or one of the wonderful people at MetaZoo
Mm-hmm.
working with Mike, went around and told local businesses, hi guys, we're bringing players of our game to your area,
Mm-hmm.
and we have this little fun thing. And they gave the little business the stamp, like
Yep.
whatever it was, a gift shop or a little tour or whatever. I don't
Yep.
know, but whatever these little places are that are based around the lore of Roswell and UFOs. Then you went around, you visited these people,
Mm-hmm.
put foot traffic in there, maybe picked up some type of like postcard or hat or whatever, gave
Yep.
them a little business, literally, and then you got to fill out this passport from being there and interacting with the locals.
Yep, exactly. And most of the places you got the stamp were also given a booster box to hand out booster packs. So you get a stamp and they'd give you a booster pack and basically be like, thanks for coming. And you'd walk around the store and then head off to the next place. It was
MetaZoo,
awesome.
Mike, everyone, thank you so much. You guys are gamifying life
Yeah.
in such a fun way. I don't want to have a real passport. I want to have this one. And this one actually
Way better.
feels way better. Like, it's durable, man. It's nice. Now, is there a reward if do you know, what is the purpose of this beyond just fun? Is there anything?
We don't know yet, but we
Okay.
have been told very good things.
Very
we have been
good
told
things.
you guys are going to want to get these full, really cool stuff, but we can't say what yet. And I don't know what it is. That's what I've been told, is that people just can't say yet what happens. But yeah, isn't this cool, guys? MetaZoo mentioned doing something to help local businesses. This is what they're talking about. They even designed, you see that Alien City Games stamp? That was probably the biggest spot that we went to. And they even designed it with Alien City Games' own logo, and then they added MetaZoo symbols around.
Oh, the
Alien City
trophies.
Games were so impressed with the stamp. They were like, we didn't ask them to do this. They looked at our logo, they designed it, they brought it in and handed it to us. So
So cool.
props, MetaZoo.
Absolutely love it.
You guys are
stoked.
amazing.
Honored to be a part of it, guys. Thank you guys for making games like
Seriously,
this so much
so
fun.
cool.
Yep. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside for now, and we're just gonna hang out. I think we roll the video first, right?
Yeah, let's do the video first.
So here we go, guys. What you're about to see is the original, uncut, unfiltered footage of a night in Venice Beach. We both lived in Venice Beach for a period of time. We actually lived in the top floor of that Jim Morrison building. You know, the one with the big mural on it, Jim Morrison, you know, and he used to sleep on the building, like that was the lore. And this was in 2007, maybe 2008, and we used to hang out up on the roof all the time. So we were looking north towards Santa Monica, and we saw this thing in the sky. It made no sound. And we see more than one, so
Yeah,
we're just
there's
gonna let this
multiple.
video play. Actually, you know what? I do have a filter on here. I forgot. Let me show you guys the filter list. So this is uncolor corrected and unsharpened. That is the original footage from the camera. But just for the sake of making sure that the upload is vibrant enough for you to see, I'm going to turn back on the sharpen and the brightness boost, just a little touch of that. These things were, I don't know what they were. We thought at first maybe they were kites, but when there was more than one and they were going almost around each other, and I might not remember this correctly, it's been many years since we watch it, but I swear there's a point in here where whatever this craft is, or aerial, whatever you want to call it, phenomenon, I do believe that it goes on both sides.
Yeah,
So I believe
they do
they
like a
flip.
flip. Yeah.
Which made me think, that can't be a kite, right? Like, can kites flip?
And also probably not a drone, which, by the
Right.
way, drones weren't really out at this time. People weren't flying around drones like they are now. You didn't ever see them on Venice Beach. And the only ones that I had heard about at the time were the bigger ones, those first models that were really fat.
God, that looks like a kite sometimes, but why is it glowing when it turns like that? And here it's
Yeah, there's
actually
a red
climbing
light.
straight up. Like it continues to climb and climb, and I can't tell where the
There
trajectory.
you go, it just flipped. And there's a red light on the back of it that you can see every once in a while that kind of just blinks occasionally. But yeah, we filmed this up on top of our workplace and just couldn't quite believe it at the time. We were in shock a little bit that this was going on, and we were like, it's gotta be like some
Something.
remote control.
It's gotta be like a movie.
It's gotta be something like
You know?
that. But the heights that these things would go to, there's a point where a plane passes through, and they are just kind of dancing around where the plane goes.
Yeah.
It's definitely not
What?
just an RC plane or something.
And like what we just saw there, that's not even a circle. That's
No.
like, and that's why I said maybe a kite. But how is it doing?
You see how far it just traveled to? It just goes woo, like way off into the distance.
Well, no, that's me zooming.
Oh, that's you
Just-
zooming.
Yes.
Okay.
So these things remain pretty much at the same place. So if you see them go small and big, that's me zooming in and out. I'm trying to get them in focus. That's all three of them in the sky. So you can see that there's actually more than three, but we caught three at once, and we're looking north towards Santa Monica.
You can see some of them are like green, some of them are blue. They're kind of odd colors that are shifty.
Yeah, the same one will shift from like a green, a blue, and then like you said, every once in a while we'll see this blink of red. And they just were slowly floating, and the distance they were covering in the sky, that was unusual because these things were far away, like almost towards where the pier was. Not quite that far where like the Ferris wheel is, but very close to that end of the beach where Santa Monica connects to Venice. And not only were there a few here, but there were a couple that you can't see that are even above that. And I
Right.
tried to get those, but they were too far away. So it was like this whole dancing line of lights that night that were swiftly moving distances that seemed far too great for a kite, and doing maneuvers on both sides that didn't seem likely for a drone. And then I think we're just going to let this play, guys, so we might hit some dead air, but I think we're going to get to see that plane. I think we caught where they move very quickly from one side of a plane to another, and the plane is headed, I guess that would be south towards LAX.
Right.
So yeah, you guys can get an idea of how far off the ground they are.
And then eventually, if I remember correctly, eventually they just kind of faded out. They didn't like land down on the boardwalk or anything like that. They just kind of blinked away.
They got smaller and smaller and higher and smaller, and they were gone.
Right.
And again, unless this is like a movie and we are just misinterpreting all this, like my brain was even thinking, what if there's a crane like way over the, you know, Santa Monica that we can't see, and they're somehow maneuvering these for a film? But we looked it up, guys, and we didn't see any movies shooting there. We didn't hear about anything. And we weren't the only people who saw this. There were people walking the alley and the beach walk of Venice who were all saying, do you see that? Do you see that? Mm-hmm. So there were crowds looking at this and no one knew what it was from. I was shouting down at some point, like, yeah, do you guys know what it is? Like, is there anything going on up there? I've muted the audio because I do a couple weird, creepy things.
You're like, take me away, please.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I don't know how much I talk in the background, so I didn't want to hear it. Like I said, they didn't make any noise, these crafts. I did. That was what I was whispering. Take me away, I'm right here. If you can hear me, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. No hesitation. Take me away right now.
Spoiler alert, they didn't take him away, guys.
Or
He's
maybe,
still here.
I don't know. You know, we've heard stories of UFOs that are seen and then people forget they see them. And just having a little fun here with the story, I think that's the plane coming in. Ironically, after we had this episode, we were very excited that night. We didn't talk about it the next day.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, we didn't bring it up actually for years until someone was sharing their UFO story. And I was like, oh, right. We didn't even really watch that footage. We should get that out that night that we shot this. So we found it, got it out, and we always joke that maybe we were abducted and maybe they erased our memory of it. So we only later recalled by accident, yes, in a moment.
It's very weird. Apparently it's a pretty common phenomenon with UFO sightings, is that people see it and they're amazed by it, and then they just kind of forget it happened, or their brain just kind of puts it away in an archive and they don't think about it, even though it's a totally fascinating occurrence. I mean, this is amazing. The fact that my brother and I, who are obsessed with UFOs, woke up the next day, said nothing, woke up the next week, said nothing, woke up the next month, said nothing, is very strange for people like us who are normally completely obsessed with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of accepted that it happened and then forgot to tell the story until a long time later. And and now it's for you guys to decide and help us wonder what this is. See, like I swear, how is the craft this way, then this way, then this way, and then maybe even coming back down the other side?
It's doing it right now. Yeah.
I'm hoping that the video's almost done. I'm hoping that the plane is going to happen pretty soon. I swear that same plane we go back to and it crosses in front of it. Like right now I'm tracking with the camera as it's moving. What a weird series of events.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
So strange.
I hope that one of you knows what it is. I hope that one of you was like, oh, it's a such and such aerial vehicle, yada yada. You know, they use them in movies or Halloween or special events. Because it doesn't look like it's like there's an engine propelling it. And there were no sounds like propellers. But it does look like it's like floating gently. And then every once in a while, it feels like it has a direction on its own. And maybe that's just a gust of wind. I don't know.
Yeah, there were so many of them.
Yeah, they were way off in the distance. So again, if this is a movie, why are they so close and so far away? Like, what's this movie shot where they're decorating the sky with this special effect? I'm constantly trying to talk myself out of it.
Yeah, I think we should stop trying to tuck ourselves out of it at this point. Like, it's pretty clearly not a movie shoot. I mean, there's no lights set up. What kind of a movie shot would this be? You know?
I mean, this type of shot.
That we asked around Venice and nobody had any, you know, we're shooting today. You always see those up around. If they're going to be shooting there, everybody knows that they're going to be shooting a movie there. Yeah, this was different. And you can see, like, the lights go out, they come back. He's zooming and moving around, but there was also times where it would just be like, well, I guess it's gone, and then it would show up somewhere else.
Yeah, now, that's interesting right there. You see how when the camera's out of focus, it makes it look like it's the classic UFO shape? We talked about that night. This is like an HDR 1080 camera, the Sony TRV, I forget, it's some type of handy cam, but it had an excellent optical zoom, no digital, and its ability to quickly focus was one of the best cameras at that time that I had used. And we used to reminisce about how maybe there's so many crafts that look like that oval because the older cameras didn't have that tremendous autofocus and auto exposure to lock the brightness into an acceptable place where you can see the details, the ring, or even that type of hex shape that appears every now and then. Because if you don't have the right exposure, then it's just going to get blown out and look like a ball or some type of oval, which a lot of the traditional UFOs have in the past. And I'm not saying that those crafts don't exist, but this one specifically, if we did not have that camera, we would have just seen a ball, a blob, a ball of light that was not clear, where we couldn't really tell what side it was on. Okay, here's the plane.
Yep, there's the plane.
So this is how big these things are, guys. There's a plane flying in. 100%, we know that's a plane. It goes right over us to LAX. And this thing, I get so excited when this happens, it just moves in front of the plane. So now I'm holding it stationary. I'm not moving the camera at all. I'm just trying to keep it on the plane, and you can see these things are behind the plane and in front of the plane, and I swear, I mean, I don't know for sure, I think this crosses over in front of the plane from behind it. What are we talking about, guys?
Yeah.
What is that? That's definitely a plane. Don't know what the other things are, but they're floating around all over the sky, up and down the boardwalk. You guys let us know. You guys decide. Tell us what you think. And maybe I'll just upload the whole video in its original form. So if you want to see more of this, you can go into detail, pause it for yourselves, full screen without us, you know, taking out some of the resolution with our faces here, cropping some of the screen. But I think that's it. They keep going. You can see they're very high. They keep changing positions. And I'm kind of just repeating here because my brain just loops when I see this and I don't really know what to say other than, huh?
They peter out pretty soon, if I remember correctly. The footage doesn't go too much longer and they start to disappear.
And right now, just so you know, I have the camera, you can kind of see, I tilt the camera to the side sometimes to get the aspect ratio, you know, so the camera would be like this, and I'm tilting it like that so you can see how high these things go. Still couldn't get them all in. So I'm trying to show the boardwalk below, and I think that's the end of the clip for right now.
Yep.
All right. There it was, guys. If you made
pretty cool.
This far, thank you for watching, and definitely let us know what you think. UFO? No UFO? What else could it be? Give us some options, or just, you know, I guess tell us that maybe we were abducted and we're just happy to be back.
Okay, my turn. Next UFO story. All right, so this piece of glass right here has a fascinating tale behind it, guys. This is my UFO glass. So we used to live in Northern California. This is after living in Venice Beach. We moved up to the northern end, up in Mendocino County, and we were staying in a little town called Irish Beach. I don't even know that I can call it a town. It's more of a neighborhood. And we were just kind of hanging out there. We had a view of the ocean. And if you look at the history of Irish Beach, at one point, there was a military submarine base that was being constructed off the shore of Irish Beach, and they canceled it due to expenses. That's the story, is that they ran out of funding and they decided not to build it. Even though they had built the whole substructure, all of the foundation, they got all the steel laid down, they decided not to finish the project. That's the story. But there have been a lot of UFO sightings in Irish Beach. I'm not the only one. There were even signs posted around Irish Beach on the, what do you call them, like the announcement boards and stuff.
Like the old school bulletin boards.
Yeah, old bulletin boards that would be talking about UFOs and people who were meeting to try to discuss the things they had seen. And so I started staying up at night with my view of the ocean and just kind of watching to see if anything would happen. I'd stay up hours. I'd stay up for hours till like 2 or 3 in the morning. If I'd wake up in the middle of the night, I would just watch the window for an hour or so. And every once in a while, I would see UFOs. Really cool stuff. Like usually it would be a star that looked different. I didn't remember a star being there. And so I'd watch that star for a long time. And after about 20 minutes, the star would just go pew and shoot away. Or it would go pew pew, change directions and shoot away. Stuff that, you know, stars don't do. So that got me obsessed and I started to watch a lot. I mean, I probably saw about a dozen different UFOs over the course of a year living in Irish Beach and watching out my window. But the most crazy one was actually a USO that came up out of the ocean and shot into the sky directly where that submarine base was supposedly built. So of course I have my suspicions suspicions that that submarine base is not inactive, but is actually perhaps a government black site where they're testing some of this stuff. Because Irish Beach population is incredibly low. So what better place to test, right? So let me tell you how this thing looked. It was a blue-green kind of amorphous light that was very shifting. It looked turquoise. It was absolutely beautiful. And it came up under the water. I originally saw a spot in the ocean glowing, and I just watched that for a while. And then this thing broke the surface of the water, hovered a bit over the ocean, and then just shot up into the sky and disappeared like a star in the night. Totally wild. Stuck with me. I woke him up freaking out, was like, there's a UFO out there, blah, blah, blah. And I reflected the story to a local guy who'd been living in town for about 30 years. And he said, did you say it was turquoise? Did you say that was a blue-green? I was like, yep. And I described it to him, and he goes, wow, that's the UFO that I saw about 15 years ago, and nobody believes me when I tell them about it, but it was almost the same story, and it was almost in the same spot. It was the same beach, and he saw a blue-green light come up out of the water, except when he saw it, it flew to the beach, and it hovered over the sand for a while. Well, he went down to the beach after it had flown away, and there in the sand where these lights had been, there was a perfect circle of vitrified glass. The sand had been turned to glass in this thick, I'm talking like 8 to 10 inch thick circle in the sand. He said it was incredibly heavy. He couldn't move the thing. So he took a sledgehammer and broke off about a quarter of this thing, and he took the huge chunk home to his place, and he broke me off a piece of his UFO glass because I'd seen what sounded to be the same UFO, and I will forever treasure this thing because I've never seen anything like it. I've seen some sea glass, but I've never seen what is very clearly sand turned to glass. You can even see air bubbles and all kinds of things in it. This happened quick. It just boom, all of a sudden, and it trapped air in it, and it did all kinds of stuff. So this thing is so strange. It's very fragile. I have to be very careful with it because it can break. I've dropped it once or twice. Yeah, funny. And lost pieces of it. But this is one of my prized possessions. And that UFO story is one of the most important experiences of my life because I watched it. I know that happened. I wasn't sleepy or, drunk or anything like that. I saw it. I know it happened. I talked to a local. He saw the same thing. And he gave me this to kind of remember it by. So that's my UFO story.
Shout out to, we'll just call him Mr. Moore, who is a solid guy in the community. And we know his son very well.
Yeah.
Not someone who you would expect to share this with you. So when he did, it hit us with some significance, especially after the coincidence that you're telling him the story and he goes, oh, you mean like this? Mm-hmm. Well, here you go. Here's my evidence of that night. Mm-hmm. And now you have a piece of it too.
So cool.
This is heavy. Yeah, it's glass, but it's not light. This is heavy fucking duty. I know what you mean by fragile. It's because there are so many ridges on this. You can kind of see where he's busting it out. But then it goes from sharp over here, like be careful because you could cut yourself, to completely smooth and soft and wonderful. I mean, it's glass. But why was this on the beach in a larger form after lights from the ocean were hovering over our coast?
In a perfect circle.
Just incredible.
Wild. Yeah.
I mean, this is like some Krypton alien shit to me. It seems so far-fetched, and yet I know it was real because I was right there with you. I did not see the craft. I only heard the excitement of him freaking out in the middle of the night, which happened on occasion, but nothing to this extent. And then the follow-up of the local that we know and trust, sharing his story and this piece of strange phenomenon. Has he ever gotten it tested?
No, I don't think so.
I don't even know what you test. Right. Is this glass?
Right. I don't think that he ever got it tested because it was just so clearly like in the sand, made of the sand. And we know that sand can turn to glass. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It was really cool when I was telling him about the UFO story. I was kind of embarrassed. We were drinking coffee in the morning at the local place and I just had brought it up. But I was nervous as to how it would be received, and to have him go, oh, no way. You did not just say that. That is exactly what I saw. In fact, I'm going to bring you a piece. And he came into the pizza shop later and gave me a piece of the UFO glass. So it was awesome, guys.
All right. That is. Anyway, guys, once again, if you made it this far, this is it. This is our little UFO video. We may do more if you guys enjoy this. You've just heard most of our stories. I mean, yes, there are a couple other things that have happened. I was going to queue them up, but we wanted to get back to shooting, and I had to gather all this stuff from old hard drives. So I just thought these are the two highlights. We have some stuff that could be weather balloons. That was over another place in California. Our stepdad just here 2 weeks ago with his, oh man, he's got an old iPhone, unfortunately, but he saw a craft over the mountains, and he zoomed in on it and snapped the blurry photo, and even the shape of it is like this weird crown, and where it is over the sky, it was there for 30 minutes stationary above a mountain while clouds moved around it, and it must have been enormous to be that far away with the clouds from the mountain in front of it at times. So yeah, we've seen a bunch of strange stuff. We're definitely those people who want to believe, and also always dialing back that excitement for reality, because who knows? Aliens, extraterrestrials from outer space or underwater or inner Earth, Agartha, or even our own government or breakaway civilizations that have figured out this technology and kept it secret. That's what I personally think religion is. I definitely fall into the sort of alien angel, what's it called? What is it when the gods are the aliens? History?
Yeah.
Ancient aliens.
Oh, right.
Is it possible?
Is it possible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to who's our favorite? Not just crazy Giorgio, but
David Childress.
Yes. Love David
He's awesome.
Childress.
He's awesome.
Absolutely. Don't know him personally, but have always enjoyed. And, all the way back to the Eric Von Daniken guys, and the a little bit of Zachariah Sitchin, but
I like Zachariah.
I like the ideas. I don't know if I trust the interpretation. I like seeing the Sumerian text myself and just going, well, what else could it be? It looks like you got to a point where you're mixing DNA of animals and other species, and you've got all sizes of humans on these tablets, on these clay shards. It's pretty wild in general. So, yeah, I think that we are a very young species. In the words of Graham Hancock, who I think was quoting Plato, we're a species with amnesia. We actually don't know who we are, and that's okay. It's a little weird. All of us really try to know stuff, but we don't really know where we come from, where we're going, how we're here, why we're here, what we're supposed to do, if there's an afterlife, if there was something before this. We just don't know. So I love existence. I love talking about this shit. I love hypothesizing. I don't really know, but I do hope that the aliens soon show themselves and we can move on to that interdimensional exploration of the universe, being gardeners and basically arbiters of fun with games like MetaZoo and just playing with the extraterrestrials around this existence together.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm with you. I think the most likely scenario is that everything that we can imagine is happening. I think that's the most likely. There's aliens, there's government projects, there's breakaway civilizations that started as government projects, then came across energy technologies. I don't think there's any bigger secret in the world than energy technologies.
Right.
And so I think there's a good chance that most of what you see flying around are test pilots and black government sites that are testing out their, crazy new equipment, and different energy sources and different things like that. These aren't gas planes flying around. These are nuclear and or, kind of like, or new elements, things that we don't have on our periodic table, all kinds of cool stuff like that. I think that's what the vast majority of sightings are. And then I think there's probably a small percentage of sightings that are legit aliens. But I have a feeling it's like, if it's got screws and metal panels, it's us, right? If it's just a ball of light, it's probably a different kind of consciousness than us.
Maybe, we uncovered enough ancient sites like Indiana Jones or even Roswell, where we stumbled across the technology like so many people have suggested. And that's how in the past 100 years, we have had this enormous dump of potential technology all over the world, in our computers, in our light boxes, this internet. I mean, technically, all of us are psychics now. You are communicating with us. We're communicating with you. We're not in the same room. That's telepathy. I think telepathy literally means doesn't TV come from telepathy? I don't know. Don't quote me. Tele.
Yeah. Tele is like distance.
Distance and
Yeah.
vision. So telepathy, the path to vision through distance without actually being here.
I don't
we
know
are.
if that's the actual.
I don't know. Anyway,
don't listen to his
we're
word
done now,
breakdowns,
guys. Yeah, don't even. We made it this far. Thank you for making this far. If you have, I think we should wrap up now because if we don't, I will continue to tangent into crazier, more unrelatable places, and everyone will have to lose their respect for me just to stay sane.
That's fair.
All
That's
right.
fair.
And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to our patrons. We'll get those patrons rewards out to you right away. If you're looking for more MetaZoo content, check out Caster Society where we upload 3 times a week. And we're back, guys. So
We're back.
appreciate all the support, and we will see you next time on
MetaBroz.
Later, guys.
Later, everybody.